Bart, Ahmet Zappa
Bart Nagel. Nice to meet you.
It really is a pleasure.
This is something I realized last night when I looked you up on Wikipedia.
Okay.
I mean, I knew who you were, but you're the same age as this guitar. The year that I sold this to Frank is the year you were born. So you guys are twins.
We're twins. We have the same. We're all twinning, right? We all have the same haircut. I'm so familiar with this guitar. I mean, I've seen it so many times, and Frank loved it so much. It was always a mystery. I wasn't, I guess, old enough to ask the question. Frank, passed away, but I always knew that he got it backstage at a show, right? And before the interwebs and where you could get some information, I didn't even know that you were alive. You know what I mean? I thought you were like this man of mystery and no clue how this came about. But comparing it to other SGs, which has always been my favorite body style for a guitar, but I always loved the inlay of the iconography, and I'm just so curious of how this thing came to be, and then how did it wind up in Frank's hands? What is your story? Who are you? This is awesome.
So the way it came about is that I, in high school, was challenged to make guitars by a friend of mine after I scoffed at the amount of money he spent on an SG.
Okay.
And I said, I could make one for half that. And so he came to me with a want ad from the Arizona Republic. Grew up in Phoenix.
Okay.
And it said, make your own guitar, and it had a phone number. That's all it said. So I called, I went and visited this guy. He had like a little garage in central Phoenix, and he was building guitars there. Wow. He had been a pilot for a lumber company in South America. He was collecting wood to build a yacht. And then his wife had some medical issue that could only be taken care of in the U.S., so they moved back.
Okay, well, I hope it all worked out for them
for
as
a
a
while.
family. Okay.
So anyway, he was going to sell this wood, which was rosewood, ebony, and mahogany. He was going to sell it for furniture making when two guys approached him and said, hey, this is guitar wood. So he thought, I should make guitars. So I came into his shop saying, I want to make an electric guitar. And he said, yeah, we don't make those, but you can use the shop and the wood.
Okay.
So I started building, and after a couple of years, I became like a regular in the shop.
What was can I ask, do you mind if I interrupt you?
No, please.
I'm pretty chatty, but what was the first guitar that you made? How did it turn out?
It was like a single cutaway SG.
Okay.
And with single pickup. It's just a very basic. The thing that set it apart is that I made the neck out of rosewood and herringbone pattern to give it strength. I sold it for $150.
Have you ever seen it?
I haven't seen it since. Now that guitar is worth $200.
Maybe
no, I have not.
$205. I bet it's great.
I wonder. Yeah. It's a first effort.
Have you been? Is this your first time being reconnected with one of your?
Well, no, that's not true. So when the internet opened up in the early '90s, and I searched myself for the first time using Alta Vista or Architect or one of those first search engines, I searched for Bart Nagel, and it said, here's a guitar made by Bart Nagel from the Juan Roberto school, and it was for sale in a store in Chicago. So I bought it. And so I reconnected with that.
That's awesome.
And it was a guitar that my girlfriend had helped me build. She used to come at night and help sand the wood. And she did it while she was pregnant with our son.
Wow.
Who we later gave up for adoption. Anyway, I gifted that guitar to him when I met him.
Well, that's a choice, and I hope that all worked out, but that's like heavy duty.
It's a little heavy duty, but
yeah,
it's like...
does it make, not to be overly personal, but like getting that guitar back and having those memories, I don't have words to your journey as I'm just learning and meeting you for the first time. That's heavy duty, man.
It was pretty significant.
Yeah.
We had put my girlfriend's name on the label as well. So it's when I bought the guitar, I didn't know that it was one that she had helped on. But when I got it, I went, oh, this is significant that Debbie helped me with this. And then it was a few years later that I hired an investigator and found my son.
That's good.
And one of the first things I did was present him this guitar. This is something that your mother and I made, other than you.
That's awesome. I hope that was cathartic and loving and fulfilling, and I mean that in itself is a movie and a story. Probably a better story than this.
Oh,
but,
no,
I mean,
no.
it sounds like it.
It's all part of the mosaic. Yeah.
So you make one of these first guitars, this guitar, and then so you were saying for a couple of years you're in the shop, and
then somebody comes in with a SG that had been destroyed.
Okay.
And so the neck was shattered or whatever, and I cut it off and tried to figure out what I was going to do with it. And we had all of this great burl grain rosewood, which is decorative, but it's not really great for an acoustic body because it's a little fragile. But as an inlay,
because I love all this. Was the pickguard originally on here like that too?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I mean, I know you didn't put the electronics in here because this is
that's
very
Rex
much
Bogue's work. Yeah.
Yeah. The mad scientist that worked with my dad trying to help him achieve the sounds that he wanted. And I think the pickups are different than what you had originally in the guitar. But it really is beautiful. Just this is so unusual how it kind of lines up with, the.
Well, so it is beautiful.
Okay.
The reason it's like that is because the two pieces are book matched. And there was a flaw that's repeated on both sides because it's book matched.
Yeah.
So then I had to book match the cover for the flaw, which is the ebony.
Well, it's very, very cool. And it has an extra,
So it's got an extra fret.
Yeah.
Just so you know it was mine.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah. And
Is
of course,
is that the signature thing with your guitars? You put
no, it's just because I had so SGs are very prone to the necks breaking because with the second pickup up here, it's pretty fragile in this area.
Right.
So I pushed this pickup back, and since I had more meat here, I thought I'll add an extra fret.
Okay.
Just to make it look good.
Not only does it look good, it
Gave your dad one more note.
It's true. I mean, he loved this thing, and what is this? What is what was the and then was this original Gibson or
no? So I hand cut that out of a piece of sheet silver.
Okay.
And it's got a little star dotting the eye to set it apart. And these inlays are something that we had in stock at the guitar shop, and I just like them. Just put them on there because it would make it look not like an SG.
Right. So, like real silver in here, or
real
just
silver? Yeah.
Didn't know that. Learn something new every single day. Very cool. Yeah. I mean, this has been all over the world, and how does it feel when you hold it? It's got all this wear and tear.
Yeah, he really didn't take very good care of this.
He had lots of people working on it. But how does it feel? When you hold it?
It's amazing to feel it, and it feels so much lighter than it seemed in my memory. So I picked it up, I was like, I can see why you'd want to play this for hours on stage because it's so easy to just hold.
Well, my dad, had an unfortunate situation happen to him. A few years, maybe I forget, when he was pushed into the orchestra pit. Crazy fan pushed him into the orchestra pit at the Rainbow Theatre in the UK, and so he always had a lot of pain afterwards. So not only was this guitar, lighter and sounding good, but it just, I think it's his signature guitar. I mean, he's played a lot of different instruments, but in my mind's eye, and it could just be my age and how I saw my dad on stage, and I've seen the Baby Snakes movie so many times, and but yeah, I really think that this luxurious piece of furniture is.
This could have been a yacht.
Exactly. No, I mean it's really great. But when you held it for the first time, aside from the weight, I've other people that really revere my father they say so many nice things when they hold the guitar, and the thing that I'm excited about is I really want this to go into someone's home where they're going to make amazing art with it. The electronics are so unique and specific, but the guitar is so it's just so well made.
Yeah, well, I think that whoever gets it is going to find it easy to play.
Yeah, for sure.
It's got a speedy neck on it, and of course the extra fret, and whatever electronics that Rex put in there.
And did you ever get a chance to meet Rex?
No, never did.
I mean, lots of Frankensteinian things have happened to some of Frank's guitars, and out of what looked very different when you first presented it to Frank, this is the coolest kind of mad scientist setup from some of the other guitars.
Yeah.
There was my dad had this semi-hollow body Gibson. That it's
thrashed.
Yeah. Well, the electronics in there were very cool. It's one of his first guitars. But again, to me, this is the coolest. I can't believe I'm sitting here with you.
Well, I can't believe I'm sitting here with you because this is so many years later, and you guys are the same age.
Well, I didn't know that, and.
I had to go back and look at, because there's such an extensive, record of your dad playing everywhere.
Yeah.
And so I can track down, I can figure out those dates when this was backstage at the Celebrity Theater in Phoenix, Arizona. He used to, I guess, begin and end his tours there.
Yeah.
So you'd see him twice in a year. So I photographed him in April of '80, and then in October of '80, I brought him a print to sign, and he signed that.
I mean, you can see the difference just even in the knobs. And,
Yeah, and he still had the old covers on the pickups.
Yeah. Cool picture of Frank.
Yes, this is when I was switching into my photographer phase.
Well, that picture of Frank makes me think we had this cat named Marshmoth. And
as you would.
Yeah, and Marshmoth would always go on Frank's shoulders. And so I can always, there's just different periods of time where, lots of people have different hairstyles, but I guess I've bookmarked different moments in my life with pets and Frank's haircuts.
Well, that's funny because when I started getting interviewed about this guitar several years ago by these two British authors, Tony Bacon and Mick Eakers.
Yeah, we did a book with Mick.
Yes, Zappa Gear.
Yeah, and he did a really, really good job.
Yeah, super thorough.
Yeah.
But he would say things like, well, when did you sell him the guitar? And I was like, I think 74. Yeah. And when did you photograph him? I said, it was probably later that year. And he goes, well, no, because Frank's hair wasn't that short then.
Yeah, yeah.
So then I had to well, when could it have been? And I finally found the film, and it was marked April 1980. That's when this picture was taken.
Okay.
Yeah. So that it was the thoroughness of these authors that
was
helped
6. Yeah. Was this you make this SG, but so you always like these body styles? I mean, did you do any other SGs? Like, where is this? No. What number of guitar would you say?
This was probably number 9. So I did a couple of electrics, and then I started messing around with acoustics, building some out of plexiglass.
Oh, really?
Using bird's eye maple for some. I built some standard steel string acoustics. I built a couple of classicals, and I've built one flamenco. Okay. And then a couple of bass guitars.
And then you called it quits?
And then I took a little break, and then I asked Steve Howe of Yes if I could make him a guitar. And he said, well, I've got so many guitars. What I need is an electric lute. So I built him an electric lute.
Wow.
And
how'd that turn out?
It could have been better. It was a little bit heavy. Like, he wanted something he could play on stage that wouldn't feed back.
Yeah.
But I think ultimately, with 14 strings on it, it was too heavy on the peg head side.
Yeah.
Anyway, we won't go into that.
But so were you also, all right, if this is number 9, did you have artists in mind that that you wish you can give the guitar to? Like, how did it wind up in Frank's hand? Was that a conscious decision? And so I assume you like Frank's music, and if
First
you like...
concert I ever saw was Frank Zappa and the Mothers of Invention, 1969, with my big brother and his friends. You know, we went to the Phoenix Coliseum and saw the Chambers Brothers, 20th Century Zoo, and Frank Zappa and the Mothers.
Wow.
So it was kind of a groundbreaking experience on all levels.
Okay.
You know, getting to hang out with my big brother and seeing like rock music live.
Was it
for the first
funny?
time. Oh, it was hysterical.
Did they do? Do you mind? Just because I didn't get a chance to see those shows, and I mean, I hear the audio, but it's very different than
Right.
you know, kind of the feeling in the.
My memory of it is that he did a lot of talking to the audience, and there was one moment when somebody threw a tangerine up on stage, and he picked it up and he put it between his legs, and then he dropped it, like he was dropping a deuce on the stage.
Okay, all right.
It's like, okay, that's funny.
Okay. And so, how old were you at seeing the show?
16.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's right on target for
Yeah.
losing a testicle,
Yeah.
an orange testicle on the stage. Okay, so were you interested mostly in like progressive rock music? I only say that because
Well, I was raised on the Beatles. I saw them on Ed Sullivan when they came out. And then, my brother brought home the first Zappa album, and then we kept getting them, and I loved them. Yeah, it felt as part of like the whole anti-man, anti-war movement.
Yeah.
It felt like the rebellious thing that I wanted to be a part of.
Well, when I speak with people that liked and still like Frank's music, I love the stories because he's my dad, and I got to hear the music, but it's just a different kind of a relationship to it, and I'm really grateful for any story that someone can share or a personal moment, because I didn't get to.
Right.
I lost him so long ago, and he would be gone like half the year. This truly, I've been I so appreciate, if I haven't said this again, sitting down with you, because I've actually fantasized about this moment. So you have this guitar, you're taking it to a show. Like, who are you to carry the guitar? Like, how do you even go backstage? Like, how does this happen?
Well, so the origin is that I was going to see B.B. King play at the Celebrity Theater once again in Phoenix.
You're like, I'm going to give B.B. King this guitar.
No, but it's like between the set change, like the opening band went off, and then I see this friend of mine from high school is like, he's rolling an amp up on stage. I'm like, how did Lee get there?
Right.
And so I talked to him a few days later, and he goes, oh, you just hang up by the stage door, you help the roadies load in, and then they let you stay. And so I thought, okay, well, this is how I can meet people that I want to meet, right? So I waited by the stage door for Frank to come for the sound check. And another friend of mine was there with a 57 Les Paul.
Okay.
And we showed him our guitars, and he went, yeah, I wanted to try that one. And he picked this and took it backstage with him and noodled around with it for a while.
Did you go back with him? Or?
No.
Okay.
Don't think that didn't freak me out.
Yeah, so I bet.
And then he came back out and he said, yeah, I'd like to buy it. He goes, meet me for breakfast tomorrow morning.
Okay.
And I'll give you cash. So I went home, came back in the morning. The Celebrity Theater is attached to the Travelodge Hotel next door, and that's where the bands would stay. So I just met him there at the counter, and he gave me the cash, and we shook hands, and I was on my way.
No other conversation?
If there was, I don't remember it. Like, I didn't, it's one of those situations like, what do I talk about? Like, he's trying to eat his breakfast,
Right.
And he was nice. And when I went back to photograph him, he cordially allowed me back in to photograph him. He posed for several photos.
Yeah.
And then when I went back to get it signed, I was once again allowed backstage to see him and hang out. So.
And did you have good conversations back then, or? So this event in my mind, right?
Yeah.
Has like still cool, but I was hoping that did he say like, oh, it has an extra fret? Did he? I mean, obviously he loved the guitar because he bought it from you and he used it so much.
Yes.
So
Well, when I went to photograph him with it, he told me like how much he loved it. At that point,
okay,
it had been damaged by the airlines, and he wasn't playing it during that end of the tour. So
Right.
he was playing a Les Paul, but he was very proud of it. He was still traveling with it, and very happy to show it. So the signed photo I have, he says, "Thank you for many years of loyal service, F. Zappa, 1980." So he clearly loved it a lot,
No,
and that pleased me no end.
he for sure did.
And it was my biggest calling card in the world for the longest time, except that whenever he was interviewed about the guitar, he said, "Oh, some guy in Phoenix built it." I'm like, "No, I'm not just some guy."
Damn it! I'm Bart.
I'm Bart.
Well, Bart, this is one of life's real pleasures and joys too.
For me as well. I mean, the opportunity to see this again, but to also see it with you, because this was kind of a surprise. They sprung on me at the last minute. Oh,
I literally thought you were a phantom stranger, didn't know if you were alive or dead. And then, like, before flying out here, we have a mutual friend in common.
Let's say his name.
His Eric White.
Eric White.
Yeah, and I'm like, this is so stupid. This could have happened. We could have been. I mean, do you still live in the Phoenix area, or
No, I'm in Oakland.
Okay. Well, that's worth a road trip. We could have had breakfast.
Yes.
You know.
All right.
Could have talked about this anytime. And thank you, Heritage, for making this happen. This is awesome.
Very.
Okay, so the pickups that you put in there,
We're just the bog standard
okay.
Gibson humbuckers. They may have been these coils. I'm not sure because I never unsoldered the tops and took them off.
And do you feel like the idea of putting Gibson on the headstock? What was the like? Why even do that?
I have no idea.
Because that's it's your own kind of guitar at this point. But did you want people to think it was a Gibson, or you just thought it was cool?
It's because I didn't build the body. I felt kind of like and because the SG was the guitar that sort of lured me into wanting to make guitars. Mm-hmm. So it's a little bit of an homage to Gibson. But then, dotting the I on the Gibson with a star allowed me to set it apart. And having your dad play it and love it set it apart even farther. So, yeah.
I mean, when was the last time you saw the Baby Snakes film?
Years and years ago.
I mean, he rips on this guitar in that movie, among other albums. But you can he's a freak of nature. Can I impart any other information to you? And I don't think I have any, but I can try.
Well, I mean, it was at the house, or was it in a studio somewhere the studio was downstairs, right?
Yeah.
So was it in the studio? Was it on a stand? Was it in a case? How did he keep it? And was it used for recording as much as for performance?
I think all of the above, even playing around with it. I mean, you have, there's various places it could have been stored. So there's, there was lots of stuff in that house. But we still have the case that it lived in very safely. So sometimes it was, if memory serves, it would be in our vault with like all of the, his recordings, but as a memory of where he kept it when he was alive and ready to jam, he seldom played guitar towards the end of his life. Once he had synclavier, I think my brother was working on this magnum opus guitar, like all of these, some of his favorite guitar players ever. All kind of doing this. I mean, I'm probably describing it better, not better, incorrectly. My brother can just describe it better, but I think it was this piece of music, I don't know if that's ever come out, called What the Hell Was I Thinking? And again, tons of his favorite guitar players, and my brother will have a better memory of this stuff, but he got my dad a new setup, some whatever was kind of new and interesting at the time. I think it was some like Mesa Boogie amps and I think he put together a guitar for Frank to play, and I think it was like a big moment that he was, oh, he's going to pick up the guitar again.
Wow.
You know, but it just was one of those things not really meant to be, because again, time is a little.
How old were you when he died?
I learned that he was going to pass when I was 15, and he passed when I was 19, I think. He lived 3 years longer than the 3 months, and he just burned the candle at both ends. He just was a man on fire, working on all the stuff he wanted to accomplish, and just.
But did you get more time
with him? Yes and no. You know, it was definitely different, because once I started driving, it was nice, because my family time with him is I kind of kept his schedule, so he always worked all night and slept during the day, and so we had an intercom in the house. He'd say, "Bubba, will you make me a coffee or bring me some cigarettes, or whatever it is." I don't know how I got the nickname Bubba, but I did. And I'd go down to the studio, and I was very social, so it was fun to have a dad who was very present in and interested in my friends' lives and my life as a 16-year-old driving around. And so I have lots of memories of going and getting him pies, or, I hate mayo so much, but that man loved a tongue and Swiss on a Kaiser roll with Russian dressing, and the combination of what is that in Russian dressing? Mayo and pickle relish and tomato. It's like excreted from the devil's teats, as far as I'm concerned. It's not a condiment that I enjoy. No. He loved it. So I have lots of memories of him, laughing, and which was very different than a guy who was on tour and then working and busy. And so prior to his, illness, he'd come up and, we'd all be excited because we'd have our version of a family dinner, which is like, hi, bye. He'd have a plate of food, a massive plate of food, and he was always a beanpole. So he ate maybe a third of it, and then we had a dog named Doggus, which was, I guess, his version of princess, but for a dog. And so Doggus was the recipient of what he didn't eat. So Doggus was basically a walking coffee table, and Frank loved that dog. Anyways, these are all, many stories that I'm going to be sharing with Bart when we skip down the street holding hands. Yeah, yeah. Thank you.
Oh.
Thank you for making something really awesome. Lots of people make guitars, and I have no idea what your other guitars sound like, or the art that they helped create. But I want to thank you, Bart, for making something truly extraordinary, and the combination of this plus Frank, I should say you, plus this plus Frank, I think has contributed to some of the great musical art that hopefully people, enjoy. But truly extraordinary. You are a gifted man, and this, I think it would be safe to say, we both want this to be in someone else's hands, sure. Celebrated and hopefully played, and make some great stuff with it.
Yeah. Thank you.
you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.